This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit.
Speaking about consumption trends, let me move on to our focus here on fundamentals. CRISIL has come out with a very interesting report suggesting that rural consumption actually over the last few years has been growing faster than urban consumption, and that's quite an important shift. Let me welcome in DK Joshi, he's Chief Economist at CRISIL. He's joining us to talk that report through with us. Thanks so much, Mr. Joshi. Appreciate you taking the time to come in. Let me first ask you, according to you, what was the key finding? Were you surprised to find that there was such a differential in terms of consumption growth on the rural end and on the urban end?
See, rural consumption has always been higher than urban consumption because the size of the rural economy is so large. But I think urban economy was kind of catching up because the consumption, per capita consumption in urban areas was rising faster. I think what we found from the NSSO release earlier this month was that the rural consumption started accelerating or started growing faster than urban consumption, and that has happened for the first time since in last 25 years. So there's something happening in the rural area which has pushed this consumption expenditure at a faster pace.
Between FY10 and FY12, sir, so it sort of coincides with the big push from the government on NREGA, perhaps? I mean, is that sort of one takeaway that's coming through?
Well, a variety of things. I mean, one is of course the rural focus of the government. I mean, if you look at the wage increases in rural areas, particularly in the unskilled category, that has been very, very fast. I think its wages have paced ahead of inflation. I think that has given rural folks some additional spending power, and that's getting, and also discretionary spending power to be precise, and that's getting reflected in higher consumption of durables, etc. So I think that's one aspect. The NREGA, what it did was, I think it has given an additional income to the rural folks because about 27% of the rural population availed of this program. But I think it had also spillover effects into the other wages because it created shortage of labor in other areas, and that pushed up the wages. So the wage increase, I think, is a very critical factor that has driven the consumption in the last 2 to 3 years in the rural areas.
So just to deepen that point, so what we're saying basically is that A, you had better say more job opportunities, maybe not better job opportunities, but more job opportunities thanks to NREGA, etc. B, maybe even on the farm income side because of higher MSPs, etc. The level of income growth was a little bit better than in previous years? Absolutely.
I think the wage income in the last two years in the rural areas in nominal terms is a little over 20%, and that's much ahead of inflation. So while the prices of food items went up, the rural folks could afford more of them and also had additional income to buy other things. And I think what's also triggering the partly the rural consumption is that I think we've also seen a lot of land sales, etc., happening in rural area. That also would have added to a little bit to the rural consumption boost.
Okay. So in terms of the, just to stay with the job opportunities first, there was a data point which suggested that rural construction jobs have risen by about 88% between FY05 and FY10. Any analysis behind that? Again, is that linked to NREGA? Is it more than that?
No, I think that's linked to the general construction activity that picked up during this period, and I think that required more labor. And I think what happened was because of NREGA, I think there was some resistance to move out of your comfort zone in the village. So that created some sort of shortage in the construction for construction workers, and I think that led to high wages. And I think the job opportunities, as I said, were created by more construction activity happening in this period. I mean, the construction GDP also increased at quite a fast pace during this period.
Okay, so it wasn't entirely out of line with what was happening in the broader economy. So you were mentioning that a lot of this rural consumption, or at least a part of this, is going into discretionary now. So, you know, there was interesting data on the fact that 42% of rural households now had a TV by FY10, 14% had a two-wheeler, and nearly 1 in 2 rural households had a mobile phone.
Yeah. I think that's what we found most fascinating in the NSSO survey. And I think if you look at the stock of some of the durables like television or refrigerators, I think about 50% of the stock resides in rural areas. And I think this is clearly a reflection of states moving up or the rural people moving up the income chain. I think what has also happened is that if you look at states like Bihar, which are dominated by rural economy, they have grown much faster during this period. So the rural oriented states have also seen a pickup in growth. I think all this has contributed to higher consumption, particularly on durable items by the rural Indians.
Mr. Joshi, help us link this into what we are seeing right now in the broader economy, and if there is any linkage, firstly, in terms of the fact that, inflation has been so persistent, maybe, the sensitivity to inflation has gone down because wages have been growing faster than inflation, perhaps. What are the macro implications that you draw out of this, sir?
Well, I think if you look at the RBI prognosis, I think one of the major reasons behind the persistence of food inflation is higher wages. I mean, and that has been pushed up indirectly by the government schemes like Narega, etc. So clearly, I think the higher demand, higher consumption demand, but lack of supply, I think that's behind the persistence of food inflation. I think if this scenario continues, I think we are going to see persistently high food inflation for a longer period of time. I think so. This is not a sustainable scenario. We clearly need to focus now on increasing the supply side. So I think one spillover of this consumption boom has been the high food prices.
Is there also an implication on the growth end in a year like this one, now where there is a problem on the farm income side, but rural GDP broadly then may not take as much of a hit as it would have, say, 6-7 years back when you had a drought year or a near drought year?
Well, I think broadly that's correct, but I think this year, if you compare, I think the ideal comparison would be with 2009-10. I think where the rainfall deficiency was very more pronounced than it is today. And I think during that year we saw GDP growing at 8.4%, and also we saw the consumption activity remaining fairly strong in the economy. I think that was the time when government gave a huge stimulus. And this year, I think the situation is not very conducive for a high level of stimulus or a generous stimulus, so to say. And reason for that is the fiscal situation. So I think government's ability to cushion the rural economy or rural consumption through its spending push is very limited at this juncture. And the second thing I think from the consumption point is that the monsoons don't matter to the extent they mattered a couple of years back, but clearly I think they do give an additional push to consumption, and that additional push to consumption demand will be missing in 2012-13 because of poor monsoons. So some downside to consumption also in rural areas is anticipated this year.
Fair enough. Mr. Joshi, very fascinating report. Thank you so much for stopping by the office, helping us understand it a bit better. That's CRISIL with their recent report highlighting that the growth in rural consumption has been higher than the growth in urban consumption. Now, that's all the time we have on Profit Fundamentals. Thanks so much for watching. BioCell comes up next, so stay tuned.